Ernie, my son Akiva in Eretz Yisrael just got the booster vaccine, number 3. They passed it out in the yeshiva. They came in, boom, 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 Erev Rosh Hashanah.
Wow. How old is he?
19. So they're down to 19-year-olds that are chutznikim.
Wow.
Let me just tell you, my niece, she's 19, also in Israel. She got it. 2 days later, she got the COVID. So,
Oops.
oopsie. It's not so simple.
By the way, in America, they still have not approved Pfizer people to get a 3rd vaccine yet.
No, my parents got Pfizer. They got it. They got the 3rd vaccine.
If you're Kenny,
Hello?
if you're immunocompromised or you meet the criteria right now of who they're recommending take the booster, but for regular people that are not immunocompromised, there is no mandate yet to take the 3rd vaccine. They do not know that it's safe, and they do not know that it's contributory. What they're doing in Israel, they're doing it on behalf of Pfizer, in many of the things they're doing, because Pfizer wants them to do it and they want data or whatever, etc. That doesn't mean it's the right thing to do right now. That's what I'm saying. With the doctor, the medical community, there is no approval in the United States by the FDA to get a 3rd dose yet. Now, people have gotten it. It's okay.
But but Moderna, there is approval?
No, there isn't Moderna. Moderna is not even, it's much further behind whether they're going to give a 3rd dose.
Moderna came out today and said they're working on the 3rd dose with a flu shot together. One shot.
Right. One of the reasons I believe that there's a delay in the 3rd is they're trying to create a vaccine that has some of the characteristics of Delta. And now there's a new one, Mu. So the rolling out of the 3rd booster, you don't want to keep on getting booster shot vaccines, and you can't do it. Your system will be overrun. So they want to make sure that they create the right booster. Israel bought their booster 3 months ago. They're giving it, a lot of people have gotten the 3rd, but that's an old booster, which I don't think takes into account Delta. And, it improves your current immunity to the old vaccine. But I think that's some of what's going on, why they're dragging their feet, because I think they are trying to create boosters that have more coverage. That's at least my understanding. Okay. So we're on Tes Amud Aleph, Beitzah Tes 9. We said on the bottom of Ches Amud Beis Omer Rabba Shachat Tzipor Me'erev Yontiv. You shechted a bird Erev Yontiv, you didn't cover its blood. Ein mechas naso b'Yontiv. You don't do kisei adam on Yontiv for it. Rashi says the haylo lechasos mibod yom. You should have done it Erev Yontiv. Umishum enui mishum simchas Yontiv leka. Now, there isn't a problem by them preventing you from doing the kisui, because kisui adam is not connected to whether you're allowed to eat the bird or not. You're not restricted from eating the bird if you didn't do the kisui. So previously we had a svara, if it was on Yontif itself, that we were debating, well, if you don't allow them to do the kisui, you're going to be nimna from simchas Yontif because you didn't shecht it. Well, here it's already shechted. And the fact that you didn't do kisui doesn't prevent you from eating it. So there's no lack of simchas yontif. Similarly, says the Gemara, Gilgel Isa me'erev yontif. You prepared a dough erev yontif, but you forgot to take challah from it. Mafresh mimena chalasa b'yontif. Even though normally we don't take trumas and maisus, like it says, like Rashi says, it's shvus. Ein magbi in trumas and maisus b'yontif. And Rashi points out, challah is called by the Torah ketrumas dogan damya. it's referred to as a trumas dog. And so you might think, just like we don't separate trumas on Yom Tov, maybe we shouldn't separate challah. Shaya yachol afishim erev Yom Tov, you had the opportunity to do it erev Yom Tov. Afilu hochi mafresh. Now challah is a different story, because that you would not be able to eat the dough without separating the challah. That's like tevel. So there would be a problem with nimna from simchas Yom Tov. So therefore they allow you to be mafresh it. Afilu hochi mafresh. Shloi gozral trumas isa. Regular truma, they were goyzer, but taking truma from dough, you're allowed l'chatchila to bake a bread and to bake it and to eat it on fresh bread on Yom Tov. So they would that part they were not goyzer. Avudish Mulamar, afilu gigal yisem erev Yom Tov. He argues, he says, if you prepared the dough erev Yom Tov and you didn't take challah, you're not allowed to do it on Yom Tov. You should have done it erev Yom Tov. So is Shmuel arguing with his father? You have a dough, not in Eretz Yisrael, outside of Eretz Yisrael, where there's a takana to be mafresh challah, but midrabbanan, not midoraisa. He can eat the dough after you bake it, and mafresh challah afterwards with what's left. So it's clear from Shmuel that separating challah is not like separating truma. And then if you mafresh it, you didn't do a ma'aseh issa, which is not like what Shmuel's father said, which he didn't allow you to be mafresh challah. So is Shmuel arguing with his father? Yeah, but even Shmuel will admit that even the dough in chutz la'aretz, if you called it shem challah, that a non-Kohen wouldn't be able to eat it. So there's a certain kedusha attached to this challah, even according to Shmuel. And he would agree with his father that it's osir to separate challah on Yom Tov and chutz la'aretz. Let's see the Shulchan Aruch. Gilgal Yisem erev Yom Tov. Osir lafish menu challah b'yom. You're not allowed to take challah on Yom Tov. If it's challah chutz la'aretz, you can eat from the bread you made, and you can leave some over as challah. B'shas adcha kishein lo pasach cheres l'shabbos yesh lishbach al shita zu that b'diavad on chalav chutz la'aretz you can be mafresh and give it to a kohen on Yom Tov. Mishnah. Beis Shammai omrim ein moilichin es asula mishavech l'shoivach. Person has keeps birds in a like a birdhouse, and on Yom Tov, you'd use a ladder to go get birds. You're going to shecht birds on Yom. You can eat birds on Yom Tov, and people know that this ladder is connected to a birdhouse. So Beis Shammai says you're not allowed to move the ladder from one window to another window. Now, the whole point, why is he doing it? He wants to take birds to Shech for Yom Tov. The problem is going to be, we'll see, is Marasayan. People don't know for sure. They think you're working on Yom Tov. Says Beis Shammai, Mateo mechalon lechalon. Within the same birdhouse, you can sort of, slide it over from window to window.
It's called a dovecote, by the way, not a birdhouse, but it's okay. Dovecote. That's what the terminology is.
Yeah, but that's if you have doves in it.
The Gemara is talking about he has doves, which seems to be.
Okay. Yeah, but pigeons, whatever. Okay. If you're
It's
gonna have, huh?
Seems to be doves. That's what seems to be the version.
Okay, yeah, I guess a dovecote is for doves, a regular birdhouse for other birds. Beis Hillel matir, and Beis Hillel doesn't have a problem. Now, what's this machlokes all about? Amrav Chanan Barami machlokes b'shus Rabim. He's happening in b'shus Rabim. Beis Shammai Savri, Haroya Oimer Latiach Gago Hutzarech. They don't know what he's using this ladder for. They think he's going up to patch up his roof on Yontif. So there's a chashad that he's doing an Isra Malacha. It's Marasayan. And they're making him out as a Rasha. So Beis Hillel Savri, Beis Hillel doesn't have a problem with it because Shofcha Mochir Alav. Listen, they see the ladder leaning against the dovecote, so they know that he's not going up there to fix his roof. But if it's your own private domain, nobody can see in, we don't have a problem. The Gemara says, Eini, it's not so. Whatever the Chazal prohibited you from doing because they don't want people to look and think either they're permitted to do it or have a bad thought about you. So you're not allowed to, that action you're not allowed to do even privately. So how could you say that the machlokas doesn't exist? So the Gemara says Tanoihi. That subject matter is in itself a machlokas Tanoim, the Tanya. Shoitchin b'chama v'lo keneged ha'am. Person's clothes got wet on Shabbos or Yom Tov. So the Tanna Kama says you're allowed to take off your clothes, stretch them out in the sun to dry them off. Avalo keneged ha'am. You should do it privately that nobody could see because people are going to think you did laundry on Shabbos. So you see this concept of whether something that we aser, the Marsayan is asered privately. This Tanakama holds it's not asered privately. Okay. Ikidiyami, this dialogue that we just started in the Gemara is learned in a different way. Amrav Chanan Barami, machlokes between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel is b'shus hayochid. The Beis Shammai islahu Rav Yehuda Marag. They hold of this. Beis Shammai doesn't allow you to do it even privately. Beis Hillel doesn't have that. But B'shus Rabim, according to this version, everybody holds it's osir because people will be chashad you. Now, lema Rav. So is Rav then when is Rav holding like Beis Shammai? So again, the Gemara says Tanoi, the Tanya shoytchin mechama v'lo keneged ha'am. There is a brisa that says if you can do it privately. Rav Shimon Poitri and Rav goes like that. Tana is not Rav is not holding like Beis Shammai. Okay, Tes Somid Beis. Whatever you want to say, Masnisin is the look Haitana. Our Mishnah, which shows that there was a machlokas regarding this ladder business, is not like the following Tanya. The Tanya Amrav Shimon ben Elazar. So this is not like our Mishnah. Here it says Beis Shammai even allows you to move the ladder from place to place, which our Mishnah said he didn't. Machlokes is whether can you return the ladder to the original dovecote where the ladder was standing originally. Beis Shammai ein machzirin. Beis Shammai said you're not allowed to return it. This machlokes is specifically, everybody knows that this ladder is designated for a bird place. But a ladder that goes up, just to go up to the roof, it's not clear. It's a ladder. It's for different purposes. So then divrei kol osir. So then even Beis Hillel will be concerned that people will think that you're doing some kind of avoda on that, you're going up to patch your roof. Rav Doisa Oimar, Mateyu mechalan lachalan. You sort of hop it. Mateyu means you sort of bump it along from window to window, rather than move it in a normal way. If the window is far away and the top of the ladder doesn't reach it, through sort of just leaning it, so you're allowed to move the feet of the ladder a little bit by bit, not with one big movement, but bit by bit. B'nei Rav Chia nofek l'kiryasa. The B'nei Rav Chia went to the villages for business purposes. When they came back, Father Rav Chia asked them, was some halachic question came to you that you had to paskin? They asked us this question about the ladder, and we mattered. Go back and tell them it was usher. Inu Savar, what did the Bnei Rav Chia hold? That when they heard that Rabbi Yehuda held that by a ladder, a general purpose ladder, there was no machlokas michlal the Tanakama Savar pligi. It's only Rabbi Yehuda said that they were not pligi, but there's a Tanakama who argued Rabbi Yehuda that held that it was a pligi even by Som Shalaliyah. But really, Velohi. It's Rabbi Yehuda Tamei the Tanakama Komafar. Rabbi Yehuda speaking for the Tanakama. Nimai midiktani moilichin es asulam mishavet l'shoivach. Because it said you can move the ladder from birdhouse to birdhouse. So if you're talking about a general purpose ladder, not a bird ladder, you should say because you were using a general purpose ladder that you moved over to a shoivach. So a bird ladder, yes, but shalali low. The other mandamar holds miktani sulam shul shoivach. It says mi shoivach l'shoivach tani. Vafilu l'kama shoivchim, even to multiple birds. So each tzad has a defense. Ika di Amri, other people say the sugya was learned like this. Amru lo, that the sons of Rav Chia told Rav Chia, he too is shaliyah balei. There's a general purpose ladder that they moved, and we said v'tarnu, we mattered. Amrlan tzuvius from them. Go back and say that what you were matir is really osir, because inu savar the bnei Rav Chia ma'idika osir tanakama kosher Rav Doisa. That which the Tanakama aserd, Rav Doisa matir. V'lo yimaydi kosher Tanakama ka asr Rav Doisa. Just the opposite. Shulchan Aruch says muter l'taltel sulam shel shavim mishavim chol shavim. You can move like Mesilov, the ladder from bird place to bird place, in order to get birds for the tzarach hachag. And you can't use a general purpose ladder. That's us. It's muktzah. Some are matir b'soch habayis, the Mogen Avram. Aval mateo mechalon lacholon. You can sort of, with slow, small increments, move it from window to window. Alma gabi simchas yontiv beishamay lechol beisil lekula. We see, even though you need these birds for simchas yontiv, beishamay is machmir. Doesn't allow you to do it in the normal way. I'll show you a stira. Right? We learned the previous blot that whoever shechts a chayva of beishamay oimim yachbar b'deker v'chaza, he was lenient because of simchas yontiv. How can you say over here he's machmir beisil oimim lo yishchot elam k'hay lo ofam mochim, but you have to have the dirt prepared from erev yontiv. So you see, Beis Hillel was machmir there. Rav Yochanan says you have to switch Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel over there, and that Beis Shammai is over there machmir as well. Freik the Gemara mimai, not so fast. Why did Beis Shammai lie you there? Notes. You had a shovel already in the ground. Well, no, it's low. He didn't permit you to do it. And I'll go the other way. Why did Beis Hillel permit you to move the ladder in the bird place? Because the shofchoi mechiach alav. He wasn't concerned of Marasayan that you're going up to the roof to patch your roof, because everyone saw that the ladder was associated with the bird place. Aval hosam lo. But in the case of the Kisei Adam, he was not the maker. So Eli kasha, you want to find a kasha regarding this sugi? I'll show you a kasha. Beishami Yomim lo yitol Eli imkain nana mibadyo. You can't take a bird on Yontif unless you went there Erev Yontif, picked up the bird and shook it, or you have to be mechin this bird by doing some act to it from Erev Yontif to make it muchan. And so that l'chor is a chumrah. Beis Hillel does not require you to do a physical act with the bird. You just say, I'll take this one and this one. So here again, it seems that Beis Shammai is being machmir. He requires you to do a physical act. And now we ask a kasha, and then responded on Rav Yechon Muchlevas Hashita. But even there, maybe we should not be Muchlevas Hashita, because Vildim Aloyi. It only allows you to do by Kisei Adam because there's a shovel there already. He's not lenient. Okay. So we're going to learn tomorrow at 8 in the morning. That works for everybody.